Why? Hello and welcome everybody. Also good morning. So yesterday we started our SSF run. We played for a little bit and then our internet went out and my back broke. So we are just about done with the campaign and started some of our early mapping. And today in this video, I primarily wanted to talk about how you go from the campaign into the Atlas. This is a big question a lot of players have, and players request videos like this, but without editing for, 365 days, it's really hard to try to condense all of the information in. So I'm going to do my best and walk you through my process on how I'm going to go from basically like a zero to hero style. So yeah, let's get started. With that being said, let me jump into a map to show you my current character power so we can talk about what we want to improve on. So here is a tier 2 map as the character just started. As you can see here, we currently haven't died. We're at 4.5k HP, but our life regen is really bad. Really bad. Primarily because our life pool is quite high and we do not have an immortal flesh yet. This is why I cannot run Blood Rage right now, just for this reason. So, right now with my character, everything feels quite good, but I'd say that's because we're in, tier 2 maps. We're not really very far in. So, as for how we get gear past our campaign gear, I'd say there are two mechanics that we are going to focus. The first mechanic is going to be Jun and or Syndicate, whatever you would like to call it. So this right here, I just like taking these 3 nodes, and what these 3 nodes allow you to do is occasionally when you map, like 50% of the time, you're going to get attacked by these people that have like this little green icon. When you kill those people, you're going to get 2 choices, interrogate or something else. Quite frankly, it doesn't matter what you do at the beginning. If you're just trying to get gear, just click something. It doesn't really matter. Ideally, you interrogate them, get them level 3, and then you execute, get them level 3, and then you interrogate, but don't worry about that. It really doesn't matter. All that matters is you click random stuff and you get loot on the floor. That loot on the floor is far better than your campaign gear most of the time. And the reason why is the loot that's on the floor from them comes with a guaranteed unveil. That's why it highlights on the loot filter. An unveil is that little squiggly line you can see, and what that squiggly line means is if you right-click it, you get a choice of 3. If you've played PoE 2, it's kind of like the desecration mechanic. It's very similar to the desecration mechanic, except it doesn't roll tiers. It's always the highest tier. The reason why this is big is on rings, for example, rings and amulets, you can identify minimum frenzy with frenzy charge, in minimum endurance with endurance charge gain on kill. Both of them are on kill. That can instantly supercharge your character, providing you more damage or more defenses without having to anoint. Anointing is when you use blight and you add these nodes on the tree. Often on league starts, especially in SSF, you don't have this, so getting that is very potent. One of the next things we'll talk about is how you can use this on your gear. Say they drop a helmet and the helmet has 100 life and then it has an unveil, and then you unveil it and it has +2 area of effect gems. This is exclusive to helmets, but this is basically a pre-Elder helmet. Not what I'm using now, but the hypothetical unveil, right? A +2 helmet would take my fire trap from 18 to 20. That is a very big boost in damage. Things like this is really kind of what helps kind of surge your character a little forward. It's also notorious for having like pretty decent body armors. Of course, all of the gear is going to be, 4-linked, but you'll just get decent gear. Now, none of my gear is unveiled. We just started. I'm kind of just talking at points here. Also, if you look at my boots, this is probably the best piece of gear I have. I got lucky and got this through gambling. You'll notice it has a movement speed roll, a good life roll, a res roll, a chaos res roll, and a life regenerate. Now, later on, I'll use harvest to change the cold to fire, but this is an ideal piece of gear and what we want on almost all of our gear at the start. A life roll, a res roll, pretend the cold is fire res, a chaos res roll, and life regeneration rate. The rate is very important. My gloves currently have it, my helmet does not have it, and again, we need to get an immortal flesh. Now, as for how we pivot into that type of gear, of course, we have the chance of getting it from Betrayal, but that's unlikely. Betrayal is kind of something we're just going to do on the side. We are going to go heavy into Breach. Now, I did a lot of Breach last league, and I did a lot of Breach this league. Breach is exceptionally good, especially for Righteous Fire gear, for printing gear with life rolls and chaos res rolls. If you look on my YouTube from last league, you'll see the tree that I use, or if you're in my Twitch chat, tree command will bring up the video for you. This is a really good way from going from campaign gear to the next step up. Furthermore, with Breach, if you go further into the mechanic, You can also get fractured gear, and the fractured gear goes really well with other mechanics such as harvest. Harvest is something I will not do right away, because for harvest, with the exception of maybe crafting chaos resistance rings, because if you do reforge chaos on harvest, it's guaranteed to have chaos res. You typically want fractured gear so you can get better outcomes with your harvest, which comes directly from breach. Now, another topic to talk about would be how I'm going to go about getting some of the unique items that are important for the character, notably Cloak of Flame and Immortal Flesh. Now, Cloak of Flame and Immortal Flesh actually is a pretty common item, so usually if you just play through the game, it's going to drop. I know that sounds kind of weird, but like it's a common item, so it will drop quite frequently. With that being said, I can also use the tree to try to force belts. There's always a really rare chance we get a Mage Blood or like a Headhunter, so I don't think it's too bad of an idea to spend a little bit of Graph Blood to try to print an Immortal Flesh through the tree. By doing that, we're just going to remove all attribute requirements, so we're going to do like less dexterity, less intelligence, less strength, focus accessory, focus belt, and then hope it poops out a belt, right? As for Cloak of Flame, that one is a little trickier. We can also use the tree to aim for a Cloak of Flame, and thankfully we're not really taking anything away, because the thing you're using for unique items on the tree is different than what you would use for crafting your own gear through the tree. So those are kind of two separate, so that's pretty nice. Another way we can acquire Cloak of Flame is actually coming over to my website here. If you come over to my website real quick and you just go to the FAQ and you type in Cloak of Flame, you can actually see how to get Cloak of Flame in SSF. And this is a pretty popular method where you make a low-level character and you gamble bases at Faustus to try to get a Cloak of Flame. It can be quite a lot of gold, but in this league specifically, we have even more gold than before, so this is quite nice. And here's the tip on the Genesis tree that I was talking about. So, to reiterate, we're going to be getting basic gear through Unveil mechanic with John. Unveils have a guaranteed tier 1 modifier, which almost instantly makes them better than your campaign gear. For gear that we did not get Unveils through, we're going to be using the Breach mechanic located here all over the Atlas so that we can acquire Graph Blood. With the Graph Blood, we're going to be crafting our gear. I'm going to leave the weapon alone. The weapon will come another time, but we're going to be crafting like body armor, glove, body armor. Yeah, we'll do body armor a little bit just for a 4-link because I'm not expecting to get a 6-link. So glove, boot, helmet, body armor, shield. Those will be the primary pieces from that mechanic. Rings I'm hoping to get through the Jun mechanic along with the amulet. Belt I'm hoping to get a Immortal Flesh from the tree. And then after I can secure the Immortal Flesh, I'm probably going to go for Cloak of Flame. The reason I go with that order is I imagine Immortal Flesh is significantly easier to get than Cloak of Flame, and the massive regeneration will protect me a little bit more in the early game than the mitigation from Cloak. The Cloak will be a little bit better moving into like yellow and red maps, for example. Red maps we really want. Then what we're going to target influence gear, but that will be a little bit later. We'll target like an influence helmet, and we'll target an influence shield. That will probably be for maybe a video or two down the line when we're farming tier 16 content. Another thing I'm going to also do is I'm going to pivot into Ritual. Now, Ritual will probably be a separate atlas for me, but the reason I want to go into Ritual is Ritual also gives a decent chance on finding unique items. So things like Cloak of Flame, Immortal Flesh, and I want to play the Hateful Accuser version, as Hateful Accuser is less gear dependent. I made a video on it last league. I don't have POBs on the website because unfortunately new players really butcher that build and make me do a lot of work to fix it. So you'll see video updates of this character with Hateful Accuser. Ritual is also a fun mechanic. So anyway, just to, clarify again, Jun, as we're going through, I'm only putting a few points in to get lucky gear. Breach as a form of crafting some entry-level gear. Probably do a separate atlas for Ritual. I'm not really sure. I don't know if I can plug Ritual in the current atlas. Once I get decent amount of gear from Breach, I might just stop it and go full send on Ritual. This will be kind of like, we'll have to play through it and see where the character is, and we'll kind of assess it at a later date there. Anyway, that's pretty much about it. I'm going to go ahead and hover over everything for you so you can see the character. If you guys enjoyed the video, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget you can catch me streaming live every day at twitch.tv/Pohx, except for Sundays. And I'll see you guys on the live stream. Also trying to do some more YouTube streaming now that things are kind of a little bit better for me. So we'll see how that goes. Take care, and thanks for watching.